All right, let's start with example 1. So we've got some monomials here, right in this area right here. Let's go ahead and start by identifying some things here. The exponent of x, in this case, or on this one right here, negative 2x to the 6th power, is 6. So watch how easy this is. The degree of the monomial is 6. That seems pretty easy. Now, letter B, we have 3/7 y. Well, look at the exponent for y. There isn't one, but we have to understand there's a 1 right there. So the exponent of y is 1, so we say it's to the degree of 1. Now the exponent here, a little bit tougher to see. We don't really have an exponent. We don't have a variable to work with. So here we say the exponent is 0. So it has a degree of 0. And then move down to example 2. Now we're going to identify some polynomials. So here's a polynomial negative 3. Well, you might know from that previous example, this is going to be a 0 degree. And then let's type this in here. Not a huge deal, but we'll write this anyway. It says if we identify this by degree, it's called a constant. And then if we identify it by the number of terms, well, there's only one of them, so it's called a monomial. Now, if you're having trouble with that mono term, think of maybe a monorail runs on one. That's a train that runs on one single track. That might be a way to remember it. Okay. Now going over here to this one right here, we've got x or negative 1x plus 1. Well, that looks kind of close to something we maybe a chapter or two ago that we were graphing. And if you remember what something like that might come out like, it came out to a straight line. Okay, first of all, we say this is to degree 1 because there's an understood 1 right there. And so let's put the degree 1, but then let's identify this a little further. Because this one graphs as a straight line, we call this linear. And because there's 2 terms, it's binomial. All right, next one. We've got x squared plus 3. All right. Now we've been graphing a lot of these. Look at the 2 there. That says that this thing is to the degree of 2. And if we identify it, well, we've been calling these as we graphed them quadratics. And that is also, since there's 2 terms, it's called a binomial. And then finally, kind of a long-looking one here. Okay, look at this biggest term as it's arranged from greatest exponent to least, and that's got a 3. So this is the third degree, to degree 3. If you were to graph this one, it's going to be what's called a cubic. So we're going to write cubic here. And this one has a little bit more than 2 terms, so we're going to call this a polynomial.